Welcome to the channel. In this video I'm gonna talk a little bit about all the games that I completed 2021, and completed in this case means that I have at least the very minimum played the main story of the game. The first game I completed 2021 was Gears of War 4. It was a fun shooter, even for someone who don't really care about shooters. Characters in the game have personality, which is probably the aspect that makes this game series one of the most popular single-player shooters. If you like shooters with a story, this is a great game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the biggest disappointment of the year for me. It begins fun and seems interesting for the first 10 hours or so, but then it begins to drag the exact same thing in a slightly different environment. That's actually a very standard formula for all Ubisoft games. Also, it forces you to go through the entire enormous boring area of the game. If most of this game was optional, I would have liked it a lot more. Atelier Ryza 2 was my game of the year. It was also Issue Gaming Game of the Year and probably many others Game of the Year. It's a direct continuation to the first Ryza game, just that characters are older and more interesting this time. This game almost cheats by taking all the best from the first Ryza game and improves it double. The map, gameplay, alchemy system and all is just really fun to play. Characters are great and the story is just okay, but that doesn't matter. The very best game in 2021 for me. Bravely Default 2 attempts to be a classic JRPG with a modern take. Sometimes it succeeds. Some of the jobs and how you have to combine them will give you meaningful grind, but something is missing. I don't think it's the characters, maybe it's that slight repetitiveness which leaves this game as almost a mediocre JRPG. NieR Replicant endings A and B. I have some mixed feelings about these multiple endings in NieR games. I don't often play same games twice and I don't like repetition. However, these NieR games do have something different and very interesting. The music is definitely good and I will likely buy and play the next NieR game also. Demon's Souls Remake definitely plays and looks like it was made for a next generation console. Much sharper and fluent compared to PlayStation 4 games in my opinion. If you like Souls games and the challenge, this is a must play. Even though if you play as a sorcerer, the game is twice as easy. I tried a second playthrough playing Barbarian and so far I haven't completed it. Cyberpunk 2077. It was not the basic edition of the game but the one that comes with cards and such, and it was only around 20 euros, so I ordered it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna play it through. We know the reputation of this game being one of the most disappointing titles of the year, but I decided to try it and it turned out it was not a bad game. It clearly was an ambitious undertaking from CD Projekt Red, but they just couldn't pull it out 100%. Some of the quests in this game were really fun to play, though there still was plenty of bugs and at least one of them was a quest breaking and it was really draining the immersion. I would have also hoped to be able to respec everything. Apparently for some weird reason that was not in the game. ES9 Monstrum Nox. I understand that I'm not speaking for everyone else here, but for me the next ES game has to be made on more modern engine. This one just looks so PS3 game. This being said, the gameplay was fun and different abilities of all the characters worked well. Shortly put, it's a fun RPG with outdated visuals and environments. For me, the next Ys game, they have to do something that was done for the next game on my list. Tales of Arise. Some people say that Tales of Arise was overhyped, but I didn't see huge hype for it. Obviously, it was a brand new Tales game and this series has a massive fan base and long history. In my opinion, completely modernized visuals made this game much more immersive and more fun to play than it would have been with the older game engine. For me, this game was a success and I had some really good time and moments playing it. Atelier Ryza and Logi. I'm a huge fan of Atelier games. My game of the year was Atelier, but not all of them are great. It took me more than 1 year to complete this game. It's a very old game and even if Ryza was a fun character, the game just didn't click for me. Sorry. Xenoblade Chronicles Definite Edition DLC wasn't a full game, but I had already played the main story on Wii, so of course I had to play the DLC to see how that long story ends. If you liked the original and played it all the way through, this is a nice little extra DLC taking the story to its completion. If you have to choose between this DLC alone and some other full game, then I would guess you make better choice buying a full game instead. Metroid Dread was last game I completed 2021. The challenge is not nearly at the same level with NES and SNES Metroid titles, though I only ever played Super Metroid before this, so I'm not an expert in this franchise. This being said, the challenge is there. Sometimes it actually feels frustrating to try that same enemy section like 10 times in a row, but the idea of Samus being hunted and having to escape to the surface is not bad at all. This game feels linear, at least for the most part of the game. I really had to traverse back to the previous areas only once. Every other time the game automatically guides you to the next spot on the map where you need to go. My final words for this are that it is worth playing, but for me there are better Metroidvanias like Ori, for example. For some reason I forgot Resident Evil Village from the list. Village was one of the best games of the year and it made me looking forward to the next Resident Evil game. Anyways, that was all the games I completed 2021. Maybe it was not the most groundbreaking epic year for video games. That's probably because it was the first year of the next generation consoles and most of the games for them are still in development. This being said, I believe the next year is gonna be a lot more epic. Thank you for watching and I wish you the best possible new year of 2022.